first of all, tell us how you make your chili.
All right. So we're again starting off with our ground beef. We're gonna add a little bit of garlic and onion just to boost that flavor. I also like to add these spices right away.
So what do you have in there?
So we've got cayenne, cumin, and paprika. So your classic chili spices. You can customize this if you like it a little spicier. You can always add a little bit more chili powder and cayenne to boost that up. If you are cooking for like a non-spicy crowd, that's okay too. And do less, exactly. So we're gonna add that right away.
All right.
That way the spice really gets in there. So do you want to take over the stirring?
I'd be delighted.
All right. So again, this is all just into the pan, and then it's gonna simmer for a little bit and get those juices and the flavor really in there.
And it does not take long. Like that just hit the pan and it is like, hello.
Yeah, you're gonna wanna stir that until you do get those aromas coming off the pan.
It's happening.
And then you know it's time to get going. All right.
Now
so,
what?
Tomato paste.
Okay.
I'm gonna scrape.
All right.
Excellent. And make sure you give this a really good stir because it might tend to burn on the bottom. We don't want that to happen.
Right.
So make sure it's really, really well combined when you're stirring that in there.
Okay.
You want everything should look kind of reddish.
Right.
Yeah. Looking
I think
good.
we're there. Yeah. We're there.
All right. So now we're gonna add kidney beans. Again, we're getting that complimentary beef nutrition, bean nutrition, and it's really good.
Got all your bases covered.
Yeah, for sure. Gonna add that, and then again, diced tomatoes. And beef stock, again, you could use water, you could use any other stock, whatever's handy, whatever's there. You want about a cup of that.
Right, so it's kind of like not a soupy chili, but it's like it's a bit more of a, kind of a liquidy. But mind you, some of that cooks down, right?
Yes, yeah.
For sure.
So once you've got all those ingredients in there, you want it to simmer for about 25-30 minutes just to get those flavors nice and melded.
Okay.
And again, a little bit of that liquid will reduce and it'll thicken slightly.
Okay,
Yeah.
Terrific. So we have already pre-made our mac and cheese.
Yes.
That's done.
Yes.
And so how do we go about, because this is where things can get kind of interesting,
Yes.
right? Like how do you want to set this up? Like who's coming over? Who's going to be eating this food, right? So
Absolutely.
Give us some of your suggestions.
Okay, so I like to combine them all in one go, and you can do that in a baking pan and put it under the broiler. You can also do it in a cast iron, which is what we're going to do today.
Okay.
So like you mentioned, the mac and cheese is already cooked. It's good to go. So we're going to transfer that into here, and that's going to be our base.
Okay, so shall I?
I can hold the pot if you want to scoop it in.
For sure. And this is just any, like whatever your favorite mac and cheese recipe, or you've got the recipe that's part of this.
You can absolutely use a different recipe, but I've included one that's going to be on the website.
Okay,
so
great.
Yeah, no need to worry about that.
Oops. I'm losing some of it
Oh,
here.
that's okay.
All right, so that's that.
Trade you for the pot there. All right, so now that you've got this on here, we're gonna scoop some of this chili on. Now, again, many ways to do this. You can put it all on the middle, you could put it on the side. You could even leave it separate if, like you said, whoever you're cooking for, if it's a lot of people, if it's...
I don't like chili.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. But we're just gonna scoop a little bit. We're gonna take some from the pot there, and we're gonna scoop it straight onto the middle here.
Okay. And could you mix it all up, or is it just basically goes on the top?
Absolutely.
Okay.
You could leave it on the top. That way, when people are serving, they can get a little bit of chili with their mac and cheese, or they can go straight for all the chili with mac and cheese underneath.
Okay,
So
fantastic.
I'm going to scoop a little bit more. If you do decide to mix it all together and throw it into the oven, I would suggest sprinkling a little bit of cheddar on top. And you don't need to bake it for terribly long. Just put it in the oven under the broiler for about 5 minutes until it's really nice and crispy, golden brown bubbling.
Yum.
And you should be good to go.
Okay. And of course, it's one of those things where you make a huge batch of it. You can freeze it.
Absolutely, yeah.
You can, and you don't feel like cooking, and then you've got, this wonderful thing waiting for you in the freezer. So, okay, so rich, creamy. We got the chili, got the mac and cheese. I also want to mention we use Peak of the Market onions in our recipe here tonight, as we do when we use onions. It's Peak of the Market, and of course, this is kind of a special season for us, season number 31, and we're very, very proud to be featuring some of the farmers and the farming families that bring you the foods that we present to you on Great Taste of Manitoba. 6,500.
Yes, all across the province.
Okay.
Beef farmers.
Beef farmers.
Yeah, we're very proud of our community here.
Yeah, and we're actually going to meet a little bit later on. We're going to meet the outstanding young farmers of 2020 on tonight's episode. So we're super excited about that. We hope you'll stick around when we come back here on Great Tastes of Manitoba.
You're watching Great Tastes of Manitoba, filmed on location at Supper Central at Kenaston Commons.